But I think to help to legitimize this, those who might question the credibility of a DMin, to have that terminology is there. But it's also separating two facets. There's the project itself that they will be engaging in, and then there's the reflective evidence of this. What was the process? And how did you evaluate? How did you assess? And, the theology that's there. The written work we're describing as the project dissertation. And that is what they'll have to defend at the end of their journey. Any questions on that? In the student handbook, I've defined that for them, why we use the word dissertation. But, yeah, Peter?
I haven't actually looked through the research manual carefully. Is there a statement in there about IRBs at all?
Yes.
Okay, good.
In fact, not just a statement, there's several paragraphs.
Yeah.
Although even that, we may have to tweak, because from what I've heard from the EDDs, they've changed some of those, even some of the terminology. So here's what I'd ask Sam. When it comes to the student handbook, feel free.
Okay.
When it comes to the project manual, don't do that yet, because I want to make sure that we're in step with the grad.
And do we want to give it to them this fall when they show up for their intensive, or do you want to wait?
Well, when they come into the intensive, that still gives me a few more weeks to refine this.
Okay.
Though people that I want to talk to, they're still on vacation and don't want to come in.
Because at deep, it'll be 2 years before they're in project phase full on, so it could change again. And we can give them, this is a draft, maybe put draft
And
across
that may
the
be,
top or
as we
something.
do share it, we're letting them know that it's going to be modified.
And the IRB is currently using a video course, I think, from Dartmouth that I'm going to put in my class. So they're going to have to actually do the human sources research training program from them to.
Yeah.
Twice, they're going to have to go through that. The first time to teach them this as they go through these initial courses, but when they start, it's going to be about 2.5 years afterward. I think it's going to be important for them to do it again, just prior to beginning their project, just in case. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is a time limit on the IRBs. So talk with IRB. Institutional Research Board. They're the ones who deal with the
research.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not like torturing people to study them.
It teaches you how not to get caught. No. And it's I think if you've done any sort of research, you're familiar with that. Just different verbiage. Yeah.
Basically, the research should cause no harm to your subject.
Yes.
Basically.
And you've documented exactly what you're going to do and such. That accountability is there. All right. In terms of the doctoral research project, and I'm not going to go through all this, but here are some of the steps that these students are going to be taking. First, they have to go through, get their approval of the topic itself. There's the task that they have to go through. The approval of the project proposal is the task that they'll have to go through. And with that is a separate document. Once it's approved, then they begin their steps in writing. Chapters 1, Chapter 2. That's Chapter 2 especially is the literature, both biblical, theological, as well as sociological, whatever the issues might be. But it's the literature that's out there. Approval of the first draft. Already assuming your first draft's not going to be.
Yeah.
I remember I was never told that, and I was offended when they said, "No, let's work on it again." I said, "My wife thought it was good." Approve and then approve of the final draft, and even this is going to change. The 3 hard copies submitted to the DMin office. We may not even require hard copy. I talked to the library because of their budgeting. They're just simply going to be putting them electronically. Sending it to Trent, that can be electronic, or if a student can create one hard copy on their own and send it to Trent for archival, and they want to have their own. But we will maintain theirs simply as electronic according to the library and its archives. But we may not need that. So I've tweaked some of that already. Any questions? About 5 minutes behind, so when I say any questions, don't ask anything. Mentor guidelines. You have I believe you have a sheet that there it is. That's right. I've got it here in my folder or my iPad. I don't expect that you've memorized this, but it will help you in interacting with the student. The philosophy, just a couple of points here in regards to the philosophy. The mentorship will progress throughout the student's program journey. We anticipate that, again, as one of the highlights of the degree program is that they will have a colleague who is an academic expert and ministry expert in whatever field to walk alongside, not just for a class, not just for the project itself, but that you will be with them for their 3-4-year term. Hopefully it won't be 4 years, but and that interaction, for the most part, except for the classes, and then when they get to the project, it'll be just a once-a-month interaction we'll have. And there is also a mentorship process update that you'll be sharing to ensure a more holistic experience whereby the student interacts with an experienced colleague. Here's one of the reasons why I really want us to maintain this, and I'm glad that the committee thought of doing this. I think most pastors and ministers don't understand or appreciate what mentors are all about, and so they're on their own. If we can create a template for them, if we create some sort of pattern for them, an appreciation, so by the time they're done with their program, there'll be a void and they'll be hunting and looking or become a mentor themselves for others because they've seen the value in that. But it's not good for man to be alone. When God said that, I don't think he was just talking about, hey, you need a woman. Human needs human. And I think part of that is that accountability. In fact, 3 aspects of the accountability, and here's, well, it's marked with purpose. These are 3 passages. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, Proverbs tells us. But it's understanding. That's a great benefit from mentorship. Scripture says iron sharpens iron. There's an accountability that they have. If one falls, his friend can help him up, Ecclesiastes says. That's retention. So in very practical terms, mentorship is valuable, not just for within the program itself, to help them along accountability, understanding, and retention. But I'm hoping it'll also set an example that it will be life-changing for them as it creates that habit of maturity in relationships. In terms of structure, there are 3 main responsibilities that we're looking at for our mentors. The first, as I mentioned, is sort of an ongoing relationship throughout their time. Ongoing, not once a week, not every day, you're sitting with them or calling them or Skyping them. Maybe once a month, following up on them, seeing how they're doing, interacting with them. With that sort of interaction, there are some specific things that we'd be looking for, is assessing and evaluating their ministry, professional aspect, spiritual aspect, personal aspect, as well as the spiritual. How are they doing? How's the welfare? The last page, if I'm not mistaken, of your guide, there is what's the title on that?
Progress report.
Progress report. That at the beginning of each term, when the cohorts come, I would hope that you would also be able to turn in that progress report. That way, if I see their progress is down and low, they're here on campus, and I can begin to interact with them just to follow up to see how they're doing. If there's any intervention we can to help them out, or it'll also give you opportunity if they're here on campus that you can also dialogue. But my office needs to know how they're doing. That's a part of retention. Gosh, when I was at ADME, Association of Doctoral of Ministry Education, that was a comment that was made over and over again, that many, if not most of the students that start DMIN programs with all but dissertation, they drop out for whatever reasons. Retention is not high. So what can we do to keep them going, to keep them strong? And with that, I think having the mentor not just be there, but follow up, to give a mentor some leverage, but also some responsibility in communicating that. So I thought it'd be helpful to create some sort of document that will help you in communicating, so you'll know what to be asking and what to be communicating to my office to assist the students. Any questions on that?
Is this going to be filed like electronically or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking you would put it in a folder that is,
Yeah.
protected, that, you or the professor can look at.
Absolutely, we can do that. That makes sense.
So that's like twice a year basically for the report, fall and spring sort of thing?
Fall, spring, there's a summer term that we have as well, but three
it could
times a
be-
year.
it could be three times.
Reports, yeah. I think that's a healthy rhythm with our students. And again, I will be doing the same thing. I told them, I am your academic advisor. Mentors aren't. So I'll be right there along with them. So what you may be sharing, I probably have picked up on as well. But because you will be interacting with them, sometimes a more personal, more ministerial aspect than me, you might pick up on some things as well. So two eyes, I think, on the students' welfare, I think would be very, very beneficial to them. So that's the ongoing relationship. The second part of your relationship with these students is going to be the textual engagement courses. We have two courses that are called contextual engagement, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Alan's going to come in just a bit and share the detailed specifics of what these courses are. It's during these courses, these 14 weeks, that you will be almost a weekly interaction with the students, as they will be interacting with you on a mini project that they will be interacting with or engaged in. And then the final one is the doctoral research project, that you will be the first reader of 3 readers for their doctoral project. There'll be most likely it would be the mentor, myself, and then we'd find a third individual. Most likely trying to find that individual who would also be an expertise in the specific project area that the student is engaged in, that topic area. That'll, I think, deepen the conversation and enrich the students.
Is that going to be an outside examiner?
It can be, but the decision will need to be made by us.
My concern is if you don't have outside examiners, that's what validates a program.
Mhm.
In fact, I just did one at Master last month, that they bring in an outside examiner to assess everything. But that's actually what validates the program with other universities. So that's why I'm suggesting that would be the way to go. I know it costs some money, but I think validation of the program is really important.
ATS does not require an external for DMin, but some schools do routinely use external people, some don't, some do a mix. So that's been interesting.
I would suggest that it would be really important for us to do an
Keep that in
external,
mind.
just because it's a new program. You want to make
Sure.
sure that everything is good.
Again, we've done the benchmarking. This is, although I may have heard, it sounds familiar, in the DMin, many of them did not have it. That third individual oftentimes was seen as that objective perspective.
Yeah.
And the only limitation we have to that is that if a student makes a recommendation for the third, is to guarantee that that person truly is objective. It's not just a buddy, a grandpa, or a pastor who's right along with them, who's just going to nod, because that undermines the
Well,
credibility.
usually the external doesn't know the student.
Yes. And that makes
has
sense.
not seen the dissertation in any form.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the conversation too with that third reader, is that it is fresh for them. They haven't been walking with that student, so it does offer that a little bit more objectivity.
Yeah.
Good. So that's the third aspect, where the mentor will be walking with the student in that process. And if you become familiar with the project manual, you'll be able to see the steps that are there and how the mentor will be engaged with that. It's a student's responsibility to lead the process, but the mentor is right along with it. I'm also going to be right there with the student, but keep in mind, I will be with all the other students as well. Yeah. Sam?
This may be in the manual, and I haven't read the whole thing, but are we going to require professional editing for the final draft?
That
For them to, they have to pay for it, obviously.
in my DMin, it was required.
I personally don't have to deal with all the grammatical stuff in this.
Yeah. We will we'll look into that, okay? Thank you.
Serving as a second reader for George Fox is their professional editors that they were not good.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was
They
a
what?
lot of stuff.
Not good. Not good.
They were not
good.
or not?
Yeah, the editors missed tons of stuff.
Wow.
Because, I read through it and I thought, okay, yeah, right. Yeah, lots of stuff. They're not going to take time to mark all these, and then got the post-edited version and saw all those same errors. And,
Wow.
I was the only second reader.
Mine saved me. Mine taught me lessons on grammar.
Yeah, so we would
Very
definitely
valuable.
want, that would be something we would
I think so.
want to include and have a listed.
Especially if we're recognizing these documents will also be advertisements for us.
Mhm.
They'll be reflections of us. So to have that grammatically strong could be helpful. Structure, important dates for you to note as mentors. September 22nd, semester's already started, but during this time is when, this is during the week that the cohort will take place. The on-campus engagement is from the 19th to the 23rd. And that's Monday through Friday. On Thursday, the 22nd, we're going to be providing a dinner for the mentors and the mentorees to come together and just have a dinner and begin a dialogue. I would hope and expect that you've already been engaged with them, interacting with them already. This may be the first time that you'll have a face-to-face interaction with them, though. We have already slotted students with professors based on the students' based on their background in ministry and based on initial thoughts of their proposals. Those things can change, but based on those components, we've slotted you with these students. And I feel like, what is it, Harmony.com, what is it? eHarmony.
Is there any possibility of changing that to Tuesday? The reason is some of us teach on Thursday nights in the master's program. And so several of your mentors may
Yeah,
be tied up.
we could, yeah. Monday, they're at my house.
Okay.
Tuesday, I was assuming Tuesday and Wednesday, they would just go out on their own. And then that last time would be, but no, we can make that Tuesday. That would be fun at all. In fact, sorry?
Would that be for everyone?
That would be for everyone.
Every minister and every
If that
union
works.
student.
The 21st, that would be great, because if you're establishing your relationship on Tuesday, then it may even give you opportunity on that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning, if necessary, to follow up with the students.
Good.
Yeah.
It's the 20th.
Do you have a time yet for that?
No.
6 p.m. probably? Or?
That sounds good. Just regular time in the Toscana restaurant here, the cafeteria. We will be reserving,
The salon
The salon.
or the presidential dining room.
if we can fit them all in the presidential, that'd be great. Probably can. So I need to work that out, yeah.
So that'll be the 20th now then.
Mhm.
Yes. I mentioned when we do the spiritual retreat in Crystal River, January 30th, that is a Monday. That's Monday. When they all come in, we'll have the large gathering of the mentors, of the students. Earl Krebs will be there. I'm sure Alan and myself will be there just to welcome the students. And I won't call it a banquet, but it's a little bit, the facilities are going to go, they said they're going to give us the good stuff on that. So that will be a nice opportunity. And then obviously spring semester is when you have your first contextual engagement. Let me give you the details in just a bit. It's time for us to take a break. Any questions, at least at this point?
I was just I know I don't want to run behind, but on the admission standards, so is that later, or have you already covered that?
The admission system?
Yeah.
We're not really,
You're not covering
the
that?
mentors really, I didn't want to bog you down with information that you're really not getting to worry
I
about.
just had a quick curiosity
Sure.
on it. So we're controlling that on the CCMR side in terms of the admissions?
Yeah, yes.
And
Yeah,
so that's been going okay?
Jim has a rubric, and so
Yeah.
what we've done is
Right.
followed, ATS is real clear.
Yeah.
And so we were going through the process with them. Tom Tanner was our personal guy to come in on campus. He's also one who oversees the DMin and its standards, so he was real clear to walk us through. They have specific wording, advanced standing for MDiv equivalency, up to